This video goes over relationships with two variables. In this example, we are looking at corsages and boutonnieres. So we're going to define those two variables first. So the number of corsages, and we'll use B for the number of boutonnieres. So when I go to write my equation, I know it takes me 12 minutes to make a corsage plus 3 minutes to make a boutonniere, and I work for 4 hours, which is 240 minutes, because I want the units on the right-hand side to match the units on the left-hand side. If I'm going to graph the relationship, I need to find 2 points to plot. The first one that I'm going to do is I am going to set C equal to 0, and I'm going to solve for B. This is the same method that we used graphing lines by finding the X and the Y intercepts. So here I know if I make 0 corsages, I'm going to make 80 boutonnieres. My other point I can find is the other intercept. So I'm going to set B equal to 0 and solve for C. And that's going to give me 20 corsages. So now I've got 2 points to plot on my graph, and now I need to label my axes. So let's start with that. So it doesn't really matter which one you put on one axis, you just want to label it. So let's put corsages on the bottom, and we'll put boutonnieres on the top. And we'll describe it as Sam's shift. Okay. Now my number of corsages, I'm just going to go up as each square is 1. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And then on this side, I'm going to go up by each square being 5, because I have to get all the way up to 80 here. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I'll do one more for good measure. Now I know that if C is 0, B is 80. And I know that if B is 0, C is 20. Then I can use my ruler to connect those 2 points. And then I'm going to use that line for my next question. So now what I want to go through is I want to choose 3 ordered pairs that satisfy this relationship. What that means is that I'm going to choose 3 points on my line. So here I've got 5, 60, 10, 40. So 5, 60, 10, 40. And the last one it looks like here is I've got 15 and 20. So 3 points that the line passes through. And then I really have already figured out the maximum number of corsages is 20, because that's when I make 0 boutonnieres. And the maximum number of boutonnieres is 80, because that's when I make 0 corsages. Our next example that we're going to do is with money. So Erica has $3 in nickels and dimes. I'm going to start off by defining my variables. So I'll use N for nickels and D for dimes. And then I know that each nickel is worth 5 cents. Each dime is worth 10 cents. And they equal a total of $3. So the maximum number of nickels that I could have is when I don't have any dimes. So then my equation would look like this. 0.05 N equals 3. When I divide both sides by 0.05, I'm going to end up with 60 nickels. The maximum number of dimes that I could have is when I have 0 nickels. Dividing both sides, or knowing that you have 10 dimes in a dollar, would give me my maximum number of dimes, which is 30. So now I'm going to graph my relationship again, and I'm going to put nickels on my x-axis, going to put dimes on my y-axis, and let's call this amount of points. And let's go up by fives on my x-axis here. We'll draw in my x and y. So I've got x and y here. And so for my nickels, I'm going to go up by 5. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And then for my dimes, I'm going to go up by 2s. So let's go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and then 36. That'll get me high enough. Now I know that if I have 0 dimes, I have 60 nickels. So that would be right here. And I know that if I have 0 nickels, I've got 30 dimes. And so this line that I draw to connect them is going to represent all the possible combinations that I could have.